Hello guys, today in this live session we are going to complete the conditional statements and master it. So it is completely beginner based, so don't worry if you don't know anything. Let us cover if else and else if statements and nested conditions, switch cases, after that ternary operators. So in this we'll be seeing from if to ternary operator. After that we are solving live problems here. So if you have any doubts, drop your questions in the chat. So we'll solve it today. So first, why do we need these conditional statements and what are these conditional statements? So first, the conditional statements is nothing but the if or if else. For example, in real life, we make decisions all the time. For example, if it is raining, then we will take some umbrella. If you score above 90 marks, then you will get grade A, and or else you will get grade B or something like that. So programming is like same. The condition statements let our programs to make decisions. So there are mainly three types that we will learn. First one is if statement. After that, if else statement and else if ladder. Finally, we will be seeing about switch cases. After that, ternary operator. So first, let me show the basic syntax of it. So the basic syntax of the if condition is if parenthesis, within it we have to give condition. After that, curly braces and the code that has to be executed. So this is the basic syntax. If keyword, after that parenthesis, within that the condition and the curly braces, and we will give the code that have to be executed. This is the basic syntax. So if the condition inside this parenthesis must be something to evaluate, and it has to be true or false. There is one more thing in that. For example, if I give C 0, so 0 means false, other than all non-zero numbers is true. For example, even if I give -6, it is also true, other than 0, all the number is true. So let us go on to our first problem. So in this program, we will check a number is positive or not. So I'll use a number. Before that, I'll use scanf here. For that, I have to declare a variable integer n and scanf. I'm getting integer, so percentage d. After that, a comma and the address of the variable ampersand n. And every statement has to be end with semicolon here. So we all know the condition of positive number is if a number is greater than 0, all the number is positive. If a number is less than 0, then the number is negative. So let us check that if the current number is greater than 0, okay, then I can say it is positive number. Okay, so let us run it. I am giving the input as 34. So it is a positive number. So I am giving a printing statement before scanning. So let us run it again and let us give some value other than positive values like -45. So it won't print anything, okay, because this only statement, if this condition passes, then only it executes, or else it will skip this line and move on to the next problem. That means the next line of the code. So what we have done is we have declared the integer variable and we have using the input from the user We are taking the input from the user using scanf. After that, we will check if the current number is greater than 0 or not. If it is true, then we will print this message. It is a positive number. Okay. So let us move on to the next one. So here, if I give any positive values, I will get positive. If I give negative values or 0 here, the program will end there itself. So this is a limitation of this program. We are only handling one case and we are not handling the other cases. So for that, we will be seeing if else statement. If this case is false, it will directly move on to that case. So for that, again we will check the same. If a number is greater than 0, that is positive, or else I can say it is not a positive number. Okay, let us run it. So here I will give 34. It is a positive number. Again run it. So let us check negative 78. So it says it is not a positive number. So this if block is called as the true block, and this else block is called as false block. That means if this condition becomes true, this block will be executed. If this condition becomes false, then this block will be executed. That's why it is called true block and this is false block. Okay, if this is fails, it will be directly, it won't check anything, it will directly print this condition. So now we have seen about two conditions, that is if and if else. It have two paths, that is if this condition is true, first block will be executed or else the second block will be executed. So let us move on to one more question using this if else. For example, like it is used for two types. For example, let us take a coin, it has two sides. One is head, another one is tails. So same like that, it have two conditions. If it is fails, another one will be executed. So let us see how to print, how to check it is a even number or not, even number or odd number. So for example, there are two cases are there, that is every even number is divisible by 2 and every odd number is divisible by 1. Okay, so here a number, for example, let us take the input from the user. Before that, I'll see some example. If 2 modulus, if I use 2, I'll get 0 because 2 1 times of 2 is 2, so I'll get 0. For example, let us take 20 here. So in this 20, we see 10 times of 2 is 20. So the remainder is 0. If my number is divided by 2 and get the remainder 0, I can say it is a even number. If it is written 1, it is a odd number. For example, let us take 23. So in this number, 11 times of 2 is 22 and the remainder is 1. Because 23 minus 22 is 1, so we'll get remainder as 1. So that means I can say if a number is divided by 2 and written 0 as the remainder, it is a even number. If it is not a even number, I can say it is a odd number. Okay, let us check it. So I'll give some number 31. It's a odd number. After that 66. It's a even number. So in this, why we are using void is it doesn't need any parameters. It doesn't matter. Even if you give nothing, it will work. Void is nothing but void is called nothing. That means there is no need to give any parameters there. It will be defaultly given by the compiler. So even if I remove it and run it, I won't get any issues here. For example, I'll use 80 here. So the code is working perfectly. So this is not this is called parameters. When we see functions, you will see what is parameters. You will give some values to the parameters. After that, it will get it and it will run it. So in the main function, we don't need to give any parameters. So the compiler defaultly given it as void. So we don't need to give anything. So there is no difference between it. If you use void here, so that time this return 0 is not needed. So if I run it and give the input, then also this code works. But why we are using int main is because we will mainly use integer type and we will be returning 0. Why we are using int main and returning 0 is because the compiler will, after the every line is executed, it will directly come to the final line, this return statement. In this return, it will return the 0 to the compiler. If it is returning the 0 to the compiler, that means this code is working perfectly and it is completed. So the compiler has to know if the code is executed or not. So that's why they have given it as return 0 here. You can use void here, but most of the time we have to use int main. So it won't throw any kind of errors there. So let us move on to the next question. So before that, we'll check some more numbers. That is, even if we do check for the negative numbers, even or odd, it still works. Okay, the most of them would do us mistakes here is that they will give single equals here. So that means it will be always false, and after that this code will be executed every time. So or else the compiler will be thrown error because we are not checking and not even assigning. We are doing some operations. If you simply do n equals 0, then that times it is just assigning, so it will work. Okay. If I give, it will be every time it will print odd number. Okay. So because this is 0, so I already said that 0 is false. So this statement will be always false. Then this statement will be executed every time. So that's why we are not has to give single equals. So if you're checking, you have to give n modulus 2 here. So it will return the output as the remainder of the divided by 2. So single equals is assignment operator and double equals is a comparison operator. So please make sure to remember this. So or else you will be getting most of the time errors. So we have seen for first we have seen for single condition. Then there are two conditions. Now we will be seeing for multiple conditions. What if we have more than two conditions? For example, like a grading system, if my score is greater than 90, the grade will be A. If it is greater than 80, my grade is B. If it is greater than 70, my grade is C. If it is less than 60 or something, I can give grade F. So we can't do just with the Fs. So that time we will be needing if else ladder or else else if ladder. Okay, for else, for example, first I'll make this n to mark, then changing this as well. So we get the mark from the user. So I'll name it to mark. After that, this. So here I can say my score is greater than 90. my mark is greater than or equals 90, then that time that is grade A. So the for second condition, else, after that you have to give if. So this is the syntax, else, after that if, and parenthesis, another condition within it. So if my marks is greater than or equals 18, 80, so I'll print my grade is B. So we'll check for the another one, that is greater than 70. If my mark is greater than or equals 70, so I will print grade C. Again another else is, because we have more grades, so my mark is greater than or equals 60, grade D. Else my mark is greater than or equal to 50, I print grade E. We have get from 50 to 900 as a grades. Okay, so this mark should be less than or equals 100. So I'm giving AND operation for this both condition have to be true. So mark is less than or equals 100, because if I give more than 100, that is a invalid mark. So that's why we have to give a condition 90 to 100. If this fails, it will come and check 8, and it will check greater than or equals 80. So after that it will check 70 and 60 and 50. So below 50 I can say this is a fail mark. So I'll print fail mark. So let us give the input here. So my mark is 34. This fail mark. So we will give 50 here. This grade E, and 60 here, grade D, and 70 here, grade C, and 80 here, grade B, and 90 here, grade A, and let us check for 100 as well. This also grade A. So if we check for 101, that is greater than the range. So it says grade B, because here it is checking greater than or equals 90 and less than or equals 100. After that it will come here and it will check the mark is 101 is greater than 80 or not. So it is true. So it says grade B. So we have to give the condition here, and mark is less than 90. So if I run it and give the same mark 101, now I'll get grade C, because there is no condition here as well. So in between the range of 80 to 90 grade B, 90 to 100 grade A, and here we have to give mark less than 80, and here we have to give mark less than 70 here, and operation here. So other than that, here mark is less than 60. So other than this range, I can say this is fail mark. So let us check it. 101. Now it says it's a fail mark because it's an invalid mark. If you want, you can check another condition here, like else if my marks is less than 50 and my marks is greater than or equal 0. So this time it is fail, or else I'll say it is an invalid mark. If I give negative marks, it is an invalid mark. If my marks is greater than 100, it is an invalid mark. So let us check it here. So I'm giving some mark 108. This is an invalid mark. Negative some mark. So it is an invalid mark. So let us check, give 0 here. So 0 is a fail mark. So in between this range, so that's why we are using this AND operator, logical AND operator. If you use logical AND operator, that means if both of them is true, then only it will execute the program. Or else it will move on to the next statement. And if it is check, this both are true. If it is true, it will print this, or else it will move on to the next block, and it will move on to the next block. Like that, it will goes one after another. If everything is false, it will directly print the else case here. So this is how we will be using conditional statements for multiple conditions. So it will first check the condition. After that, if it is true, it will print and end the program here, because it will directly move on to after the else case. Okay. So let us use a printing statement here. So next line, program ended here. So run it, and I'll give some mark 95. So it says grade A and program ended here. So see here, this if to else block, if you use else if ladder, in these conditions, any one statement will be executed. After that, it will move on to the next line after the else case. So one more thing is here, that is if is mandatory for condition. Else if and else are not mandatory, it is optional. You can leave it here, that there is no need for these many operations, but you can't do like this. For example, if else, after that you can't give else if. You can only give else in the final statement after giving these many if else. First if, after that else if, after that somewhere else if, after that else case. So now let us move on to the next problem here. So for that we'll use age eligibility checker. Okay. So for that I'll remove this code and I'll write from the start. So first we have to include the header file as include standard input output .h. So this is used for using the printf and scanf. That's why we are importing this header file. So after that, main function int main, and here return 0. So this is the basic structure of a C program. So I want to check if the person is eligible to vote or not. So for that, I'll get two things. First one is age. Another one is I'm using character. In this, I'm asking is a citizen or not. I'm asking for age and citizenship. So after that, I'm asking him for entering the age. So I'm using printf statement, enter your age. So after that, we have to scan up its percentage D and ampersand age. So this is pointing to the address of this variable. So that's why we are using ampersand symbol here. So after that, we will print up for asking the citizenship. So I am asking, are you a citizen? She can say yes or no. Okay. So after that, we have to ask for the character. Scan up percentage C and citizenship. Okay, we have get two input from the user. So first, we'll check if my age is greater than or equals 18, and he has to be the citizen. So citizen, if he says yes, he can also say small s, small y. So citizen equals small y. That means it can be capital Y or small y he can print. So he can enter. So that's why we are checking the both condition. If his age is greater than 18 and he is citizen, so he can eligible for vote. So eligible for voting. So before that, I'm using \n. Okay, then we have to check that his age is less. If, for example, he is a citizen and his age is less than 18. He may not be also citizen, but his age is less than 18. Okay, his age is less than 18. We have to print your age is less than 18. Even if it is fails, that means this may not be false. That means he is not a citizen, and he may be 18 years old. If both can also be false, then it will check if his age is greater than 18 or not. If he is 18, it will move on to the else case. That time we can say if this is true, he is greater than 18. Okay, that means this one condition is true. And if it is fails, that means he is not a citizen. So here in the else case, you are not a citizen of this country. Okay. So one more bug is there in this program. Before that, we will try to run it and check. First, enter your age. My age is 18, and it is directly printing you are not the citizen of this country. Why? Because in this character we are reading after a number, so it will leave some space in the next line character. So it will read that next line character as a space and take it as a example. So for that, we have to give a space before this reading of this character. So now if I run it, so if I give my age as 20, it is asking, are you a citizen? So I would like to say yes. So it says eligible for voting. So let me remove this next line. So once again we run it. We'll give some more invalid values like negative 23. So I'm saying no. It says your age is less than 18 because this condition, if it will be execute this condition because minus 23 is less than 18. So let us give some more another input, that is my age is 20 but I am not a citizen. So you are not a citizen of this country, it says. Okay, here we are checking two values and after that we are calculating it. So make sure you have to use a single space after this percentage C before using this if you are scanning any input before it, or else it will not work. It will be just skip the line using the space as the input. So now we have seen that this OR operator is nothing but either one of them is true, it will execute. And this AND operator is if both of them is true, then only it will be execute. For example, if I am opening the notepad, so in this notepad, let me write it. True and true will be only true. And all other combinations are false. For example, true and false is false. False and true is also false. False and false also false. Here you can see that if both condition is true, then only it is true, or else all of them is false. So, but for the OR operator, so here in this OR operator, if either one of them is true, that is true. Okay, so let us give some space. So in this is also true because there is one true here, so this will be true. There is one true here, so this also will be true. If both of them is false, using the OR operator, then only it is false. If both of them is true in the true operator and operator, then only it is true, or else it will be false. So this is how the table of truth table is working for AND and OR operator. So let us write one more problem. We'll check a triangle validator. So I'll open notepad and write the condition for it. So first, a valid triangle is, for example, let me take three sides ABC. If both of the sides A plus B is greater than C, if I am adding two sides of a triangle and if it is greater than the other third side, it is a valid triangle. We have to check for all other sides. For example, it can be A plus C and greater than B, or B plus C greater than B. Okay, these are the possible combinations. If I add any two sides, it must be greater than other side. If any one of them is true, that means it is a valid triangle. So after checking the valid triangles, we will check if it is isosceles triangle or equilateral triangle or scalene triangle. Equilateral means all the sides must be equal. Isosceles means if any two of the sides is equal, then that is isosceles. If all of the sides are different, that is a scalene triangle. So let us write the program for that. So I'll remove this code. So in this, we have to get two sides. I'm naming it as A, B, and C. So I'm using scanf. I got three sides. So now first we'll check it is a valid triangle or not. A plus B is greater than C. Okay. Or B plus C greater than A. Or we have checked two sides A plus B. Here see A plus B and we need to check A plus C. So A plus C is greater than B. Okay, we have checking three sides. If either one of them is true, that means it will go into this loop. And we are checking one more condition. It is for valid triangle. If it is not, then it is a, we can say it is not a triangle. It is not a triangle. Okay. If this condition is working, it is a triangle. If it is not, it is a invalid triangle. So we'll check what triangle is it. For example, isosceles or equilateral or scalene triangle. So first we'll check for the equilateral triangle. If all the sides are equal, if A equals B and B equals C. If A is equal B and B is equal C means A equals C. Okay, we are checking all sides are equal. If all the sides are equal, I can print equilateral triangle. Or else if either two of the sides, if A equals B or B equals C or C equals A. Okay, we are checking A with B and A with C and B with C and B with A. So we are checking all the sides. So then I'll say printf this is a isosceles triangle. If it is not isosceles triangle and not a equilateral triangle, then there can be only one possible way, that it is a scalene triangle. Okay, let us check if scalene triangle. So before that, I will print enter three sides of the triangle. So I'm just giving three sides. So let us run it. So I am giving sites 12 and 12 and 34. So it is an isosceles triangle because there are two sides are equal. Let us check it another way. 1, 2 and 10. So this is entirely different because 1 plus 2 is 3 and 3 plus 10 is 3 is not greater than 10. So like that it will not execute. So let us give answer. So it says scalene triangle. So a scalene triangle is nothing but these sides will be not equal. Okay. So let us check another condition, that is 3, 4, 5. So it is a scalene triangle. So after that 3 same side. So it is a equilateral triangle. Okay, we got the output for the all possible ways. So now we have seen most of the methods. Those are if else and else if ladder and if within the another if. That is nothing but the nested if. If this condition is true, it will go on to this condition. So this is called nested if else. So let us next see the switch statement. So now you can say why we are using switch statement. Using this switch statement, using one variable value we can use one variable value against multiple specific ways. For example, if we take a character and if the character is plus, I can add it. If it is minus, I can subtract it. Like that we can do multiple operations. Instead of using if else statement, we can use switch statement. Okay. So first we'll see the syntax for it. So I'll remove this. So the syntax is switch. After that, the variable that will store it, that is nothing but expression. After that, curly braces, case, after that value 1. You will give a colon. After that, some code you have to execute. After that, break. After breaking statement, you will write case 2. Case value 2. Again the block of code. After that, break. So we need to give break for every condition that we are giving within it. After this, we can use default. Within this, if these all cases are failed, then this will be executed. That is nothing but in if else statement, if else if and else statement, we have else right. Same like we have default here. If all the cases are failed, then this will be executed. So this code will execute if no cases are matched. So this break statement is crucial and important. Without it, the execution will be false through all other cases. For example, I will not give, for example, if I remove this break and this break as well. If this is true, all other cases next to it will also be executed. That's why we have to use switch case here. So let us try to code for a simple calculator. So in this simple calculator program, I'll remove this code. So now we have a basic structure of C. So in this structure, we'll get a character for the operation. So I'm naming it as operator. So after that, we will get two numbers. In this, there can be multiplication and division as well, adding, subtracting, but we also have multiplication and division. By doing both of them, we can also get point values. The decimal values after that, some point values will be there. So for that, I am using double instead of integer. So number one, there are two numbers we will be doing operations with. So number one and number two, it's some result. So result for the final result. So after that, first we need to print enter the first number and I will scan the first number. So we are scanning the first number. After that, enter the second number. After entering the second number, we have to scan it. So scan up. This LF is nothing but long float, that is nothing but double. In double, we will be using LF for scanning. So after scanning the two values, the two numbers, before that, we will scan the operator because first we will get the number, after that the second number. So we'll scan it after it only. So printf. So enter the operator. So now we have to scan the character. Scan off. After this, we have to scan a character. So percentage C and the ampersand operator. So we have seen from the previous program, if you are scanning any integer, any values before the character, you have to give some space before scanning it. Okay, so then only it will be executed, or else it will be get space as the value and store it. So now we got all three values. So now we will be doing switch case. Switch. Within that, the expression is nothing but the operator. Make sure that in the switch cases, you can give only two values. That is integer or else any character. If you try to give a string, it will throw an error. Or else if you try to give, for example, if I give 5, it is not showing any error. If I give 0.9, see it is changed to red. That means it is an error. So in switch cases, you can only give two values. That is, one is integer, the another one is character. After that, operator. So the next one is case. In this, if the character is plus, okay, then my result is number 1 plus number 2. Okay, I am adding it and I have to print it. or else we simply break it and finally print it. Okay. If my case is negative, that means minus symbol, that is subtraction. If it is plus, I'll add it. If it is minus, I'll subtract it. So after that, break. So next, if it is star, I have to multiply. So before that, here enter the operator. I'll give plus, minus, star, and divided. So we can do one more operation, that is modulus. So to give the remainder, so we'll add one more thing. But in modulus, you can't give directly modulus in the string. So we'll just leave it, because while you have to give some modulus, it will take it as a access modifier. So for that, we have to give some forward classes before that to access it. So first we'll just calculate it with this. After that, we'll see how to add it. So first, for multiplication, number 1 multiplied by number 2. So after that, we can break it. So after breaking, case, if it is divisible, this is where one problem is there, because in this case, if the number 2 is 0, then it will throw an error, because if you divide any number with 0, it will be infinite values. So for that, first we have to check if number 2 is 0, then we have to print division by 0 is not possible. So after that, I'll break and I'll end this program here itself. So before that, if you use break, the statement will be failed. So I'll just give return here. So this statement will be stop here itself. So after this every case, we have to use, if it is not 0, we have to divide it. So in the else case, we can give number 1 divided by number 2. Okay. So then we have to give default here. Default, that is wrong input. So we have get out of the switch case. So after that, we have to print the value. Printer percentage D, sorry, double, so percentage LF and result. Okay, now let us try to run. So here the first number is 34, the second number is 5. So I want to do multiplication. So it is giving this value, but here I just only want 2 digits. So for that, after percentage, I give 0.2, that time I will only get 2 digits after this. So I also want a space here. So I'll run it. So now check, first number is 23, second number is 3, and I want division. So it says it's a wrong input. So let us see here. Why it says if your number 2 is 0, then it will be printed, and we have to break here, but it will not work. So let us remove it. Number 2 is 0. Then we can do one more thing, that is we'll use a boolean int is num2. So first I'll give 0 because 0 means false. So then I'll check here that if my number 2 is 0, so I can say is number 2 is 0 means that is changing to 1. That means it is true now. So after this, I'll just break here. So after here, we can give some value, that is if is num2. That means it will store some value. So here I'll copy this printing statement. We can't break here. We'll break after the else statement, or else the statement will not be taken. So I'll state here and paste the printing statement. So after that, I'll return 0 here. So now let us see if this condition is true, then it will become 0. It will not go to the else case, and we are breaking here. So after that, there is a default condition. So let us check it. So I'm giving 23 and 3 and division. So it is now correctly working 77.67. So what I am checking, if my number is 0, so that time it is only saying this and it will get out of this condition. You have asked why we are using integer and return 0 here. If I am using int here, then at that time if I give any return 0 before that, I can stop this program here itself. So if I remove this, okay, so if I run it and I give any values, for example 23 and 0, and I am using division. See here, division by 0 is not possible, and it is also printing 0.00. It is also working and it is also working, but I want to stop the program when the second number is 0. So that time I'll use return 0 here. So if I run it, if I give any value and 0 and division, so it only says division by 0 is not possible. It is not printing this line. Okay, that's why we are using return 0 here, and I'm checking if the second number is 0 or not. If it is 0, I'll change this to 1. So if 1 means it has 0, the second number is 0. If the second number is 0, this will be printed. So that's what I'm doing here. So let us move on to the next question. Before that, see here switch case is, in the switch case, why we are using break statement. So I'll just put down this compiler down. So after that, I'm making it big. So in this, If I remove this break statement, okay, I am removing this statement, this break and this break. Okay, so now let us check. So first is 12, another one is 2, and I am doing plus. So it says 6, but I am doing addition, but it says 6. First, what happening here? First, the number, two numbers is being added. After that, the two numbers is being subtracted. After that, the two numbers is being multiplied. Then the two numbers is being divided. Finally, it is dividing two numbers. So if I use break statement in the multiplication, so that time I'll get 24. So 12 and 2, and I'll just give plus. So I got multiplication. First, this is true, and it comes to here. So let us use print statement. So it is add, after that backslash. So print of subtraction, print of multiplication. So if I run it, then now we will see the workflow. So 12, 2 and addition. See here, first it is executed, and it is executed, and it is executed, and it is stopped there itself. It is not going to this block. If I use break here, it will be stopped here itself. So run it and check the output. So 12 and 2 and addition. So it is doing subtraction. It does addition, subtraction and stop because of this break statement. So for that only we have to use break statements. So let us run it. So I give rainfall and 2 and plus. So now it is being added. So let us move on to the next question. Before that, we will see about some invalid inputs here. Let us check it first. So run it. So I'll give 12, 78 and open bracket. So it says it's a wrong input. So if it is wrong input, so there only it has to stop, right? It should not print this value. So if it is a wrong input, so I'll stop the program there. So now let us run it. So I'll give some input 12, 78. So it now only says wrong input because the program is stopped there itself. Because of this return statement, now the compiler thinks the program is ended, so it is get out of the entire program. So we have seen about if else and else if ladder and switch case as well. And in switch cases we have seen about break statements. So first what we have done here, we have used double for the decimal numbers and LF for reading the doubles. And if we use point 2 before that printing statement, this point 2 before the printing statement, you will only get 2 decimals after the each numbers. And this each cases handles every operations. So here we have doing multiple things without using else if, and the switch case is faster than else if ladder. So that's why we will be using for most of them. So we'll see how to check for, we'll see one more program, that is, for example, vowel or consonant. Okay, we'll check for every character. If the character is present, we can say it is a vowel or not. So for that also we can use switch cases here. So let us remove this program. So in this program we'll get characters. That is, if it is A E I O U, or all characters are vowels. So we'll check if it is vowels or not. So I'll get character. So I'll name it as CH. I'm scanning it from the user. So percentage C and ampersand CH. So I get input from the user in the terminal. So now first what we can do, first we have to convert if it can be in uppercase or lowercase. So if it is in the uppercase, we can convert it to lowercase. Okay, so for that, if my character is greater than or equals, it starts from A, so greater than or equals A, and my character is less than or equal Z. It starts from A and end at Z. So if it is in between this range, so see that the characters are only based on the ASCII values. So capital A is for 65 and small a is for 97. Just memorize these two values, then you can calculate by adding the numbers. So in this a have 65 and the small a have 97. So we just have to check how many differences between these two values. Okay, if you subtract this, you'll get 32. So that means if you add uppercase with 32, it will be converted into lowercase. So let us make it happen. So let us come here. So what I will do, if it is in the uppercase, I'll convert it to lowercase. CH equals CH plus 32. So I'm converting the uppercase to lowercase. So now we will be using switch cases here. Switch, I'm giving the value character here. So if it is case A, but we are doing check for small characters. So after that, case E, case I, after that case O, case U. You know that if any one of these condition is true, if you don't use break, it will go and execute the final value. Okay, so that's why I have given here A to U. If any one of them is true, it will come upon here to the final statement. I can print. First, we will print the character. So the character percentage C is a vowel. So we have to give in the double quotes. So double quotes. It is a vowel. So I'm using next line. So after that, we have to use the value CH. So I say it is a vowel. After that, I'll break it. So if it is not, then that means else case. So that time I can use default. So default, I can say it is not a vowel. or else I name it as consonant. It is a vowel, and if it is not, it is a consonant. And one more thing is there, it can be any special characters. Correct? It can be, if I give modulus symbol or dollar symbol, it is not a character. So I will check one more thing, that is, if my character is in the range of small a and my character is in the range of a to z. So this time I can say it is a consonant. If it is not a consonant, I can say it is not a alphabet. Is not a alphabet. Okay, I am checking vowel or consonant. If not both, it is not a alphabet. Alphabet means A to Z is alphabet. Other than all of them is not a alphabet. So let us run it. So now we will check. I will give E. So E is a vowel. Okay, it is converting capital into smaller case. So if I am giving any input, I should get it in the output. So for that, I am giving one more thing. In I am using Boolean value. First, I'll make it as false. That is 0. If it is in between this range, then I can say it is true. Okay, upper is 0 and I am making it as 1. 1 means, so here before printing it, it will check here itself. After here, I can print that character. Before that, if upper, if it is upper, then I can copy this and paste it. Okay, current value minus 32. Or else I'll simply print the same value. Same goes here, that within this if, I'm checking if upper, I'll copy this and paste it, and I'll just minus it with 32. So or else I'll just cut it and paste it here. So now we have changed it back to how the input is given. So if I try to give capital E, so I get capital E is a vowel. So we got the output what we have given in the same character. So let us give one more variations of letters, that is Q. Q is consonant. So after that, some values. So I have given this open will be taken, this one character will be taken, it is not an alphabet. So let us give some numbers. 5 is not an alphabet. After that, small characters, E. E is a vowel. So it is checking that first it will come here and it will convert to smaller. So while printing, we are converting it back to the capital letters. So that's why if you use that, we don't need to check for the both conditions from small a to capital A and capital A to small a. So that's why we are using this case changing. After that, we are converting back while printing it. So we have stacked multiple cases, and here we didn't use any break statement here. Look, in the switch cases, we didn't use any break statement because it will fall through every case and just print it. So in this, after this, we'll see more of the problems and how to solve it. Most of the problems, in the first problem, we'll see leap year checker. Most of them are confused about it, so let us solve it. So for that, I'll remove this code. I will remove up to here. So we have our main function here. In this main function, first we need to get the year from the user. So first I declare it year and scan up. I'm getting the year from the user. In this, there are first we'll see what are the conditions for the leap year. Okay, for a leap year, if it is if I'll make it as big. Okay, if my year is leap year comes for 4 years. So I can say if my year is divisible by 4, it is a leap year. And one more special condition is that this year, the year 100 is not a leap year. Okay, these are the main conditions. Here, if any year that is divisible by 4, that is a leap year, and it should not be divisible by 100. Okay, and one more possibility is there. For a specific case, that is, if the year is divisible by 400, because it is both divisible by 4 and 100. So if it is divisible, if it is not divisible by 100, then only we have said it is not a leap year. So we have to use a or condition and check for the special case that is divisible by 400, because it is also divided by 4. So we are checking it. Okay. So now let us move on to the program. So for that, if it comes for every 4 years. So year modulus 4, 0. Okay. And year modulus 100 is not equal to 0. Okay. Year modulus 100 is not equal to 0, and year modulus 4 is equal to 0. So it is one condition. It's an exception. And we have one exception for this exception. That is, it is divisible by 400. So we will use parenthesis here to make it clear. It should be divisible by 4 and not divisible by 100, or it is divisible by 400. So that time I'll be printing leap year. If it is not a leap year, I can simply print not a leap year. Okay, this is the condition. Every leap year comes for 4 years, and the 100th year is not a leap year, and the 400th year is a leap year. So these are the three conditions. So let us check. So for the year, let us give 2024. So it is a leap year. So we'll check for 2000. So it is also a leap year. So let us check for the current year, 2026. So it is not a leap year. So let us move on to the next question, that is the largest number among the three numbers. So I'll remove this code. Here I can take three numbers A, B and C. So for these numbers, if I can say this number is, if this A is greater than B and greater than C, I can say it is greater. If A is greater than B and A is greater than C, I can say it is a large number. It can also be equal to the same number, or else B is greater than or equals A and B is greater than or equals C. B is greater than A and B is greater than C, that time B is greater than. If both of them is not greater than C, that means if both fails, I can say C is greater. Correct? If A is greater than B and A is greater than C, A is greater number, B is greater than A and B is greater than C, B is greater, or else the largest number is C. So I'll declare one variable, three variables A, B and C. After that, I'll ask for enter three numbers. After that, I'll use scanf, %d, %d and %d ABC. So I got input from the user. So now we'll check the condition I have set in. I have set in the notepad, that is if A is greater than or equals B and A is greater than or equals C. So I can print largest number is %d, that is A. A is largest number. Else if B is greater than or equals C and B is greater than or equals A, I can print largest number is the %d, that is B. If both of them are not, both of them fails, that means the third number should be the largest number. Okay, we have checked if A is greater than both other numbers and B is greater than other numbers. If not, C will be printed. So let us check 5, 6 and 7. So 7 is the greatest number. See here it is C. So this else case is true. So let us give two same numbers, 3, 5, 5. So let us give in the reverse order, 9, 8 and 7. So largest number is 9. So let us give the largest number in the middle, 0, 1, 89. So we got 1 as the greater number because 1 is greater than 0 and 1 is greater than negative 89. So we got the code for checking the largest of the three numbers. So we'll check the character type checker. We'll write the code for character type checker. If it is uppercase or lowercase or digit, or else it can be special characters like ampersand, star, those symbols, hashtag. So for that, we'll write the code. So it is a character. So character ch. So I'm using scanf and the address of the scanf ch. So if my character is in the range of capital A and less than or equals capital Z, it is in the range of uppercase. Front of uppercase. So after that, if my character is greater than or equals small a and my character is less than or equal to small z, so that time I'm printing lowercase. So if it is from A to capital Z, it is uppercase. Small a to small z, it is lowercase. Else if my character is greater than or equals 0 and less than or equals 9. So it is a digit. If it is not uppercase or lowercase, that means the alphabet. And if it is not also digit, it is called as special character. So let us try to check. Capital A, it is uppercase. Some random value. Small j is lowercase. So let us check with 7. It is a digit and we will give this dollar symbol. It is a special character. So it is uppercase for the range of capital A to capital Z and lowercase for small a to small z, and 0 to 9 is a digit, and if it is not all of them, it is a special character. So we will see one more problem using the switch case, that is the day of the week. For example, if it is 1, it is Monday. If it is 2, it is Tuesday, and 3 for Wednesday, 4 for Thursday, and 5 for Friday, 6 for Saturday, and 7 for Sunday. So let us see that. So you know that we are giving the input as integer. So in integer, we are getting it as, I'm naming it day. After that, I'll use scanf and I store the value inside the day. So now, before that, I can say print the number, I mean enter the number in between 1 to 7, because the weekdays are 1 to 7. So after that, some space. So I'm getting the input from the user using the scanf. So we know the syntax for switch case. So switch, within that expression, day and curly braces. The case 1, that is Monday. So after that we have to give break. Case 2, that is Tuesday. After that we have to give break. Case 3 is Wednesday and break. So after that case 4 is Thursday. We will give some break. And case 5 is Friday. After that break. And case 6 is Saturday and break. And case 7 is Sunday. For this case 6 and 7, instead of the Saturday and Sunday, we can give weekend, but we can give Saturday and Sunday for that. So if not 1 to 7, we have to give default. It is an invalid day. Okay, so that's it for this code. We are getting input from the user and we are printing which weekday is it. So let us run it. So I'm giving 2 Tuesday and run it. 6 Saturday, 7 Sunday, 0 is invalid. So minus 23 is invalid. So plus 56 plus 56. So it is also invalid. So let us give 5. So it is Friday. So this program will check for which day in a week. So now we will write another program that is for electricity bill calculation. In this we will check for first how many units of current is consumed and the final bill. We'll get how many units is consumed from the user, and after that for the first 50 units we will be adding 50 rupees, and the after that 150 to 150 we will be adding 75. After that 150 to 250 we will be adding 120. Greater than 250 units we will be adding 150 rupees. Okay, first we will write this here, that is for the first 50 units it is 50 rupees, and for the 50 to 150 it is 75 rupees, and 150 to 250 it is 120 rupees, and greater than 250 it will be 150 rupees. Okay, we are going to calculate this. So for that, first we will remove this. So in this the units can be in float. So for the units can be only number, the bill can be in floats. So int first units. After that you can also give bill here. So after that integer and bill. So we will print enter the units consumed. After getting the input, how many units is consumed? So we will get the input in the terminal using the scanf. So after that, we just first if if my units is less than or equals 50. Okay, for the first 50 units, it is 50. So bill equals number of units is multiplied by 50 rupees. Okay, if my units is less than or equals 50, my bill will be units in 50, or else my units is less than or equals 150. So that is the next condition. It is 150. After 50 to 150, 75 rupees. So for that, first bill equals units. First we have to calculate for this 50 units. So 50 times 50 rupees for 50 units. Okay. First we have to calculate for this 50 units. After that, plus now we have to calculate for the remaining units. We have first added for 50 units for 50 rupees. So the current units minus 50, and for the next 150 units, that is 75 rupees. So it is multiplied by 75. Okay, this is for first 50 units, and this is for the remaining units less than 150. So if it is greater than 150 and less than 250. So now first we will calculate for the first 50 units. 50 units for 50 rupees. 50 units for 50 rupees. In the 150, we have calculated 50. So next, the 100. 100 units for 75 rupees. After that, the current units minus 50 units plus 100 units is 150 units. So we have to add with 120 rupees per unit. If it is greater than that, my bill is equals, first calculate for 50 units, 50 units 50 rupees, and for the next 100 units this 75. We have calculated for 150 units. Next 150 to 250 is another 100 units. So 100 units multiplied by 120 rupees. After 250, we have to calculate for units minus 250. Then multiplied by, as we said, there is 150 rupees. 150 rupees per unit after the 250 units. For the first 50 units, it is 50. For the next 100 units, it is 75. For the next another 100 units, it is 250. More than that, it will be added with 150 rupees. So after that, we have to print it. Printer. Your bill is your bill for these many units is rupees this much. Okay. The first one is units. The second one is bill. So let us print it. So for that, first 25 units, for it will be multiplied by 50. So it is 1250. So we'll just make it as float here. After that, we'll just make it as 0.50 and 0.75 and 1.50, 1.20 and 1.50. For printing the bill, it is percentage here. So now let us run it. So the number of units is 250. So it is 220 rupees. So for printing, I just need 2 digits. So now let us calculate. Number of units is 300. So it is 295. Okay. This is for first T, and we are adding 50 and reducing this 50 units paisa with this unit. After that, we are adding with the remaining units. So we'll see one more problem here. That is how many days in a month. Okay. For that, I'll remove this code. First, see how many days are there. For the first month, January, and third month, fifth month, seventh month, 8, 10 and 12, 31 days. After that, 6, 4, 6, 9 and 11 is having 30 days. And February have 28 or 29 days based on if it is a leap year or not. So we are going to write a program to check this. So for that, int month. So using scanf, I'll get the month from the user. After getting the month, we'll just check. For that, first I'll use a printing statement for my understandable in the terminal. So enter month number from 1 to 12. So after that, I'm getting the month from the user. So here I'm using switch statement. In this, that is the input is month, the expression. So for the first month or third month or fifth month or seventh month, 8, 10 and 12. Okay, 1, 3, 5, 7, 8 and 12. 1, 3, 5, 7, 8 and 12. For these months, I'll print 31 days. After that, give a break statement here. After that, case 2, 4, 6, 9 and 11, there are 30 days. We will be using a break statement here. Okay, case 1, 3, 5, 7, 8, 10 and 12. January, March, May, July, August and October and December have 31 days. And here we will be giving, there is not case 2 here. So 4, 6, 9 and 11. 4, 6 and 9 and 11 having 30 days. So for case 2, we have to check leap year or not. So for that, if year modulus 4 is equals 0, that means it will come across those days. So for that, we have to get year from the user. Int year. So after that, scanf getting year. So before that, we'll use the printing statement. Enter the year, because this leap year is based on the year which year is it. So that time it is 28 days or 29 days. So we'll getting year from the user. So after that, year modulus 100 is not equal 0, or year modulus 400 is equals 0. So that time it is 21 days or else 28 days. So for these months 31 days, these months 30 days, and for the second month we'll get input from the user. After that we will check if it is a leap year or not. So we'll check month 1 to 12. I'm giving 12, it is 31 days, and for 5, 31 days, and we give April 4, so it is 30 days. So let us give February. So it is asking for year. So I'm giving 2024. That is a leap year. So for that we can give it is a leap year. So 29 days. So I'm giving 2 and 28. This next leap year. So it is a leap year. So 29 days. So here we have seen most of the problems. So let us see some more problems based on the ternary operators. So first we'll see what is a ternary operator. Okay, we are using if-else statements here. In this if-else statement, we are giving in a 2 or more lines. In this if-else statements, instead of using if-else statements, we will be using the ternary operators. So it is also one of a conditional operator, and it have 3 operands. That's why it is called a ternary operators. This ternary means trie. That means 3 operands. First, we'll see the syntax for it. So I'll remove this code. So remove. So in this, the syntax is first we'll give condition. After that, a question mark and expression that has to be done for true. After that, the expression for false. So this is the syntax for the ternary operator. For example, I'll give one condition. If it is raining, if it is raining, I'll take umbrella. If not, I'll take sunglasses. So this is how it works. Okay. If it is raining, I'll take umbrella. That means the true statement. If it is false, this will be executed. So this is the basic syntax for the ternary operator. So let us see. First, we'll see about if a number is positive or negative. So for that, first I'll declare variable. I get it from the user. Before that, I'll print it, enter a number, and I'll scan it. After getting the input from the user, first we'll check using normal if else. So if my number is greater than 0, it means n is greater than 0, is positive, or else I say negative. So I can't say negative because 0 is also there. So I say not positive. Okay, this is the statement. So let us run it. So let me give input as some number 45. It is positive. So let us give 0. 0 is not positive, and some minus values. It is also not positive. Instead of these, we can use one more thing, that is ternary operator. Okay, for that, number greater than 0. If it is greater than 0, n is greater than 0, the time I'll print positive, or else if not, I'll print negative. Okay, so this is the same, but we have written in a single condition, single line condition. So I'm giving 89, it's positive. So rerun it. So minus 90 is negative. So we have to give not positive here, not positive. So let us run it and check for 0. So 0, it is not positive. Okay, for the if else we have written, that is if number is greater than 0, n is greater than 0, print of positive, or else print of not positive. So this is the same code that I have written here, but I have written in a single line. So these See the difference? There are 5 lines here, but here there is a single line. This 5 lines is comparably equals to this single line. So that's why we will be using this. For example, we will check even or odd using the parity operator, that is 0 and 1. So I am getting the input again. So we will be seeing one more problem. For example, if a number modulus 2 is equals 0, this n modulus 2 is equals 0. So I'll declare one variable in result. So my result is 1, or else result is 0. So this is one code. So in this code, using this, for example, n modulus 2 is equals 0. That time, if it is true, then I'll say result equals 1. If not, result equals 0. Okay. See here, I'm saying if n modulus 2 equals 0, so I can do this also, or else we can simply do in a simple way, we can do like this. That is assigning result equals 1 or 0. Okay, it is also same. Result equals n modulus 2 equals 0. It will be as 1 will be assigned, or else 0 will be assigned. This much more clearer and faster way compared to this if else. So most of the time we'll be using else if ladder for, but if you using for two conditions, that time we can use ternary operator. So we'll see some more problems and solve it regarding to it. So let us check for that. So for that, first we'll see if a number is even or not. So I get input from the user using the scanf. After that, we'll see if num modulus 2 equals 0. The n modulus 2 equals 0. So that time I'll print even. If it is fails, I'll print odd. Okay, see this, a question mark, a colon, and a semicolon. Within this we have, this is condition, true expression, and false expression. So this is the syntax. So let us try to check. So I am giving number 23. It is odd. So I am giving 56. It is even. So let us check one more thing. 99. It is odd. So here, instead of writing 5 lines of code, we are writing in a single line of code. First, this condition n modulus 2 equals 0 will be checked. If it is true, it will print this. For example, we can give one more thing is there. That is, within this, we can give true here. So for declaring boolean values, we have to include the file. So hash include standard bool dot. So now true will be work. So let us check. If you give any number, for example, if I give odd number 1, it will always print even because it is true. So this statement will be executed. So if I give not operator here, then odd will be executed. So if I give 2 here, that is a even number, it will print odd number. So this is the condition statement. In this condition statement, it will check what we are doing inside it. So if you are doing giving any conditions, that is always stays as true or always stays as false, then one condition will be executed. So that's why we are giving it. So if the remainder is not equal 0, okay, if the remainder is not equal 0, this will be executed. If the remainder is equals 0, this will be executed. So let us see one more problem, that is finding the maximum number of any two numbers. For that, I am declaring n1 and n2. In this number, I'll get two inputs, so percentage d, again percentage d, and n1 comma n2. So here, same thing, that if n1 is greater than n2. So in this condition, if it is true, then the times I will print, or else we can assign it. So here I will declare one variable int greater equals, if n1 is greater than n2, so n1 is greater value, or else n2 is greater value. So in these conditions, it is a greater value, so the n1 will be stored if it is greater, or else n2 will be stored. So let us print this greater element. So within that percentage d is the greater element. So here we can simply say greater. We know we don't need this. So let us check. So let us give two numbers, 23 and 45. So 45 is greater. Then 56 and 78. Then 70 is greater. So using this ternary operator, we can simplify the problem. Instead of if else, we are writing five lines of code. We will be checking using a single line of code. In the same way, if you do less than here and make it as smaller, and I'll print smaller and rename it as smaller. So let us run it. So now again I will give some value. So 23 is smaller value compared to this number. So in this we are using, we will be checking that if else in a single line. So for the two cases, that is true block and false block, then only we can use this ternary operator. So we will see some more problems. So first we will see another problem, that is positive or negative using this problem compared to this if else. So that time we need one number. So n1 is enough here. After that, if my n1 is greater than or equal 0, so that time I'll consider 0 as a positive here. So if n1 is greater than or equal 0, that time I'll print positive. If it is not positive, it is negative. So same here. If number is greater than or equal to 0, instead of this, we don't need if n1 is greater than or equal to 0, then it is positive. If it is not, it is negative. Okay, let us check. So before that, I'll add some next line. So because this both will be executed, so both will be printed. I will be using next lines here. So let's rerun it and check for negative 90. So it's asked for some number because of this. So let us run it. So we'll give minus 90. It says negative. So let us give 0. Both says the same output, positive and positive. So let us check with another inputs. 12, positive and positive. So these both codes are same, but we have written in a different context. So this is a ternary operator and this is the conditional statements. So we will now check for the absolute value. So the absolute value is nothing but if a number is greater than 0, that means a positive value, so it is a absolute number. If a number is negative, then we have to make convert it into positive. So that is absoluting a number. So let us do that. So absoluting a number. So for that, and I'll take number. So before that, I'll print the statement, enter a number. After getting the input from the user, first we'll check that one more thing is there that we'll use one boolean value, that if it is absolute value or not. Okay, first for that I'll declare another variable that is absolute for the boolean to check if it is an absolute or not. So here absolute is if a number is greater than or equal to 0, it is absolute value. So that time I'll use the same number. If not, I just have to negative it. If it is minus, if I do minus again, so the number will become positive. Okay, for example, let us take some numbers 5, 4, minus 45, minus 97, 86, after that 0 and 54. If you absolute this value, it will be same, and 4 is 4, and minus 45 will become 45, and minus 86 will become 86, and 0 still remains 0, and 54 is still 54. So what we are doing, we are converting all of the number to non-negative. If a number is non-negative, that is absolute value. So we are doing if a number is greater than or equal to 0, same number, or else we are multiplying with negative. So that time it will get into positive value. So print up, then the absolute value of this number is this absolute. For that number and absolute. So let us run it and check with some numbers. 32 is 32 and 0 is still 0. Then we will give negative values minus 34. The absolute value of negative 34 is 34. So the absolute value of negative 56 is 56. So there is an inbuilt function ABS is there, that is absolute. So for that we don't need this. So for that absolute, see here ABS, this will also convert it into the same function. So let us run it. So for that I'll give some inputs like negative 56. But one thing is there, for using this ABS function, you have to import math.h. Then only you can use this. So I am using C line, so it is predefinedly included it when I write this ABS file. So if you want to, if I remove this line, it will throw an error ABS, because without including the file, you can't use the methods. So let us once more run it again. Negative 78. So the absolute value of negative 78 is 78. So we can check vote eligibility using this ternary operator. So here first we'll get age. After that print of enter your age. After that use a scanf. After getting the age from the user, we have to use the ternary operator if age is greater than or equals 18. So that time I can print eligible for vote, or else not eligible to vote. So now let us check it. 23 eligible for vote. So after that 17 is not eligible to vote. So 18 it is eligible to vote. So now we have seen this problem. So let us, here we can also see one more thing, that is pass or fail. Using that, if my mark is greater than 40, you can print pass, or else you can print fail. And we have already seen about nested if. We have one more thing, that is nested ternary operator. First let us see the syntax for it. The syntax for it is condition 1, okay. After that value 1, If it is fails, it have to check another condition. Condition 2, within that some value true and value 3. So first it will check if it is goes within this or this. After that it will check this condition and true or false based upon that. So now we can check the maximum number of 3 numbers. So I'll get 3 numbers and I'll use one variable to store it. So because of this it throws an error. So max is a function, so we can't use it. So I'm using just m. So don't use max here. If you include it, don't use max. If not, you can use, but I'll still use m here. So after that, printf enter 3 numbers. So now you can use scanf here to scan that. After that, a variable max equals, so that is m equals, here if a is greater than b. Okay, if a is greater than b, that means that time I have to check one more condition. Again, if a is greater than c, if it is true, it will check if a is greater than c as well. Then that time I can store a, or else I can use c as the greater element. So or that time if b is greater than c. Okay, we have checking that a is greater than b and c. If b is greater than c, that times b is the final value or else c is the final value. First we will check a is greater than b. If it is true, a is greater than c. If both of them are true, a is the greater value. If a is greater than b is false, it will directly move on to this. Then it will check b is greater than c. If b is greater than c, that time b is greater value or else c is greater value. So now let us print it. Is the largest value. So let us run it and give 12, 34, 56. So it says 56 is the largest value. So that's all for the today's live, that we have seen about if else and conditional statements, ternary operators, and we have solved around 10 problems. So in the next live we'll be seeing about for loops. So make sure to see those videos. If you have any doubts, ask in the comment, and we will be sharing the notes in the description. If you want, you can take it from it. So that's all for it. So we will be seeing on the next live.